All right, what's up, guys? Welcome to episode number 171 of the Always Race Day podcast. I'm Connor Ferguson. I'm joined with Quenten Lee over here. I guess that way, right? There.
Yeah.
It's a mirrored image. We're still figuring this out. Donny Schatz just got his 500th career sprint car win tonight, taking the Bike Week Jamboree at Volusia. The court storming debate has somehow bled into Supercross. We'll talk about that at the end. And late model heat races got canceled the other day, kind of a driver protest of sorts. We'll talk about all of it right here. But first, I want to thank the fine people at the Karl Auto Group. They are our presenting sponsors. We thank them for everything they do for us and everyone at Always Race Day. And without further ado, we got an intro to run, and then we'll start the show. All right, man. Donny Schatz getting the win at Volusia tonight. Got some good luck from Buddy Kofoid shredding a left rear tire. From the post race comments, in from what I've seen, and we'll talk about Donny in a second. Don't want to overshadow that storyline at all, obviously. But from the comments I saw post race, there wasn't a piece of debris on the track or anything like that. I saw some people asking about that. I want to come out and say I don't think that was the issue. Donny said he's never ran a sprint car for that hard for that long, and that you get the left rear spinning like that, and that can happen with how much heat builds up. And obviously that happened to Buddy Kofoid from the lead, and also took out Jacob Allen later in the race. But really unique deal tonight. What do you think of the race, Quenten?
From what I could tell, it looked like it just didn't widen out at all. It looked like the leader pretty much had control once he got out to a lead. I mean, I think Donny was chasing Buddy down in traffic, but I don't know if he ever would have got there had Buddy not had his tire issue. But yeah, I mean, just passing seemed pretty difficult because everyone was just going so fast.
Yeah, and it can be difficult at Volusia. Obviously, they rained out on Sunday. I don't think the track was in, mint condition or anything like that. And it's tough for that place to get widened out sometimes. It was tough to pass tonight. It was really tough to, go in and make a pass without making contact with someone or really forcing them up the track. I know I watched Gio kind of fend off people from the outside on multiple occasions. And yeah, that's the nature of the beast for racing at Volusia in March. And I guess, again, not to overshadow Donny, but to delay talking about Donny winning one more time. A lot of negative talk on car count. That's some late model energy. We need to get rid of that in the sprint car world, please. Love my late model people, just so we know. But yeah, 19 cars for this race. I think it was 22 was the count last year. And from what I can tell, and they didn't reference it a ton tonight on the broadcast from what I saw. I watched most of it. But every driver I've talked to about that event, the Bike Week part of it, and having it the day after, well, scheduled obviously for the day after Daytona Supercross, that's like I guess last year there was a lot of people down in the pits and a lot of people that, maybe had never been to a sprint car race, and you're always trying to bring new fans in. But I from what I can tell, the atmosphere and the amount of people down there for that race was surprising. And it was, I didn't hear anyone call it like, oh, for sure, more people than Dirt Car Nationals. I don't think you need to call it like that either. As long as there's a comparable amount of people there, especially if most of them are new fans, that's a positive. But that's why they have this race. I thought the social media, BS around, oh, the World of Outlaws only got 19 cars today. It's like, okay, well, I've watched Lightning McQueen, Chick Hicks, and number 43 put on a damn good show with just 3 cars in a race. Takes 2 to make a good one, right? That's it. So I've never understood the car count thing. I've watched ARCA races with 11 cars where Gio Scelzi finished third and is dad's like, Gio got third this week, and that fucking sucks, man. There's only 12 good cars there. And but yeah, it's what are you gonna do? They're trying to bring new fans in the sport. They weren't gonna race anywhere else this weekend, and they got a tow from Florida to Texas. They get tow money for that. They get a little bit of extra stuff for that. I'm sure they do. It's not something to sit here and go, 19 cars, I won't give a shit to watch this race or care about it. I just thought it was annoying, the negative comments about it all day.
Yeah, I feel like everything I saw today basically was that, they only got 19 cars. And then you had the people that were defending the fact that they had, 22 last year. And then you had the guys that were like, well, maybe we should just get rid of bike week or get rid of the bike week race in general. And, the goal is to, of course, broaden the sprint car scene to get new people to tune in. I mean, that's the ultimate goal. And yeah, car count, whatever. Like he said, it's still a race. I mean, we got to watch sprint cars race on a Monday. Well, I can't really complain about that.
Yeah, I had fun watching it. It's
yeah,
great way to spend a Monday. Like
exactly.
That was when I was getting into dirt racing and covering it and stuff. I never understood the obsession with there's 36 cars here tonight. There's 44. There's 57. There's 53. What difference does it make? I mean, how many of those guys do you actually think have a chance at winning this race? If you if you went through the list and said, this guy could win, this guy could win, it's going to be 12 or 13. And that's not a World of Outlaws race. That's any dirt race. I swear to you, that's any dirt race. If you follow it closely enough, you follow the series, that's any damn dirt race. That's any damn race in general, aside from the European guys that finished 20 seconds ahead of each other.
You can have an A main's only 24 cars anyways.
Yeah. Anything over 24 was really confusing to me at first. And then I'm like, we're really complaining about that. We got other things that we could complain about for sure. This is the lowest thing on the totem pole.
Yeah. So I don't really, I'd love to see more cars there. But at the same time, I don't think it would have made much of a difference. But not towards. You could add 5 guys to the back of the field, and it would have been the same race. Exactly.
A little bit more lap traffic, but if you're that much faster than the guy, you're gonna get by him anyway. So, I haven't calculated the points myself in front of me, but Donnie is going to be. Hold on, doing a little bit of mental math here. I don't think he's going to be any less than 12 points out, maybe closer than that when the points come out. I was going to calculate them before we got on here, which is just a lot of handwriting and double checking. And usually I get one wrong anyway when I do that. So that's our math skills on Always Race Day. But tight race, obviously very early. All the points count. All the races count for the same points. So if you're calling it way too early, they all count the same. They're the points after 5 races. Take it for what it's worth, please. But early season momentum is the important thing here for Donny Schatz and the number 15 crew. Those guys work their asses off. We've had him on here on 2 different shows, and thanks to everyone who tuned into Gio and Chris's episode with him. Electric show. Fantastic dude. Fantastic trio of guys. But appreciate y'all for tuning into that one. We got big numbers on that, so thank you. But yeah, Donnie, as he said, they work their tails off. Their goal is still a championship. That hasn't changed. Their goal is still to go out and win every race that they run. And I can't wait to see what this win does to their team. They turn around and race on Friday at Kennedale in Texas, a new track for everybody. And I know he's raced for 28 seasons. And I know that he was like the top tier car on the tour for a lot of those. And I just got to say his stats at tracks that the series hasn't ever raced on before are pretty much as good as anyone could imagine stats. Any certain category of a stat to be. I don't remember the numbers for sure, but it's an unimaginable percentage of wins to starts that Donny Schatz has on tracks that the series has never been to before.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I mean, Donny just seems to be able to figure out a new track. I mean, I don't know. I guess just all that experience he has. I mean,
he is really good at driving.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. But 500 wins, I mean, that's a pretty remarkable number. But yeah, I mean, it'll be exciting to see. I bet he's going to be, especially coming off the win, he's going to be tough to beat, at least on Friday night. But yeah, I guess, I mean, time will tell. But yeah.
Should we do the NASCAR thing where we say the season really starts at Kennedale because now you're finally out of Asia? God, we were making fun of that on the post-race show Sunday, which we're changing kind of the format. We gotta like nail down dates, but there will be 2 dirt shows per week, and then we're moving all our pavement stuff to Thursday morning. I think is the date that we're planning on releasing the pavement show every week, and we'll have a lot of people on for interviews and stuff like that. Blame Ayrton Jennison. He was slotted for this one. Said he had stuff come up. I didn't let him know with too much advance time, but he's busy with some stuff tonight. No, I thought pretty eventful race, pretty decent amount of action throughout the field all night, and that's kind of what you want to see on a Monday anyway. But yeah, I walked away pretty satisfied with this one. I enjoyed watching it. Do you have any other takeaways? I hope Jacob Allen's car is good and the frame isn't bent out too much, because obviously with his high limit win, like really massive early season momentum, and if you screw up a car a little bit, that can kind of go away, as we've seen with others on certain weekends in the past year.
Yeah, I think it'll be one of my takeaways is that, well, going into the season, I was excited to see what Buddy could do going up for his first full season. And tonight, you know, it was nice to see him up there leading the laps. I mean, he's done it before. He's got, I don't know how many outlaw wins he has off the top of my head. I think
it's 3, 4.
Is it?
One might have been a prelim one at Houston. Yeah, I don't know 100%. I don't want to guess. So
yeah, that's my thing. But seeing him try to put together a whole season, see if he can compete with obviously Gravel and probably Macedo. I mean, those two, I feel like now that we're going to get into a good rhythm here, they're going to be hard to beat. But yeah, it'll be so nice to see if someone can take on those two.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. All right, so over the weekend, late model race, the Southern All-Star Series was racing at Cherokee Speedway, and apparently 25 cars total. The track wasn't great during hot laps in qualifying, and I think the drivers were voicing their concerns for it at the drivers' meeting. But I guess heat races come around, and only 2 guys showed up to staging, and the series just canceled heat races and said, we'll line you up by time all 25 go to the A. What do you think about that? Before, I don't have a rant or anything, but go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, that's something. I guess if you're going to try to prove a point, that's one way to do it. But I don't think it really impacted the show too much, the A main. I think it, from what I've heard, it put on a pretty good show. But, you know, I like that the drivers have a way to influence an opinion. I mean, I guess they gave the series no choice, but at the same time,
the series absolutely could have just, I don't know if we lost Quentin there. We might have. He's back.
I'm back.
No, you're good. I don't know if the series, they had a choice.
Yeah.
You disqualify 23 cars and say, we're going to have 2 cars raced for the A, and they get the winner's check. You guys are going to race a B main, and we're cutting all your starting checks in half. That's what I mean, if I was pissed off enough and I wasn't reasonable with people, I'd do that in a heartbeat. That'd be funny as hell just to watch. Like, hey, here's the 2 guys out here that wanted to try. We're going to let them race right now for the big check. And then just see what the reaction is.
That's the other side of it. I mean, it's the series. I mean, if they thought it was good to go for heat races, the drivers should have staged, and they should have.
I bet you,
or they should.
Yeah, I bet you, not knowing, not being there, not talking to anyone from the series, I would bet that they acknowledged that the track wasn't ready, and that is part of why they agreed to let that go. So the loser, obviously, are the fans in the stands. They get to see less racing for their buck. I get why people might be a little bit ticked. The winner, or I guess, I don't know. This is just how I think. And you can call me a shill. You can call me an asshat. I'm completely fine with it. I grew up on NASCAR. I grew up on IndyCar. I grew up watching monster trucks, thinking that every Monster Jam race had a literal value to the end of the season, only to do the Santa isn't real thing at 14 years old and think, oh, wow, they're just like running the trucks wherever. None of the results matter whatsoever until they get to Vegas at the end of the year. I think, if my judgment's correct, the same people that give way too much of a crap about car count give way too much of a crap about heat races. I go to races to see the race. You have qualifying races? Okay, that's cool, I guess. Like, it doesn't make me want to watch the race any more or less than it would if you just qualified the cars and ran it. I just want to see a good A main. That's end of the day. Every race I go to, I want to see a good A main. F1 sprint races, absolutely nothing for me. I know y'all are surprised with that, right? But I go for the A. That's what the race is. Everything else is a qualifying race to get into the race. It doesn't matter. It does matter, obviously. Your winner usually isn't, getting into the race on one of those final transfer spots, though. The race is the A main. I just don't care about heat races like some people do. And that's why these same type of people are like, oh, you need the invert. That's what makes heat races interesting. And I'm screaming at them like, dude, I just want to see a kick-ass A main. Why are we putting slower cars in front of faster cars? That just creates a bigger risk for someone to run into another one, you know? But yeah, and please go off in the comments. Call me an asshat. Total like quagmire, anomaly, whatever word you want to use to the typical dirt fan. I just want to see a good race.
I mean, I can't disagree with you. So
that's good. You absolutely can, though. I mean, it's a very hollow argument because I put so many turns into it. But
we have the heat races, which are just qualifying races, and I mean we're still out here running qualifying. So one of them just kind of discounts the other one. So if we run heat races, it makes qualifying pretty much worthless. I'm sorry, it sets you up for the invert.
Yeah, no, it does. I mean, especially, okay, like, why are we qualifying to go slower, right? The King's Royal format, right? Like that, it's the same thing. And the other side of it is like the lesser teams have more of a shot to make money. And then I would counter with, you have Cody Jacobs out there running a car that's 33rd on the dot 2 fucking laps in a row during the King's Royal and gets on the pole of his heat. Like, you know, and that's part of the fun in racing too, is everyone's trying to push the envelope as hard as they can, and everyone's trying to figure out a way to game the system as best they can too. So saw with Joey Logano's web glove and all that stuff. So it's been a fun start to the season so far. Really eventful stuff. I can't wait for the rest of it. And let's move to Daytona Supercross. I will look up the Supercross points to reference that, because they've had a very, I would say, uncharacteristic. How much do you follow Supercross, Quentin?
I follow it a little bit. I don't follow it as much as I used to at all.
Usually like, by the eighth race. Man, that was a lisp and a half. I'm sorry, everyone, if you had to hear that. By the 8th race of the season or so, like, you know, where the top 3-4 guys, they've had a great mix of winners so far. I mean, Aaron Plessinger has gotten one. I think Roxon got one too. Cooper Webb's up there, Sexton. It's been a very competitive, we're just every year it seems we're getting like one spot deeper. Like the top tier is one more. I would say it's 7 guys looking at the standings right now that I just pulled up. But anyway, Jet won Saturday, right? Yes, he did.
Yes.
So Jet wins Daytona Supercross, and really tough track. It seemed like a lot of fans not happy with that from comments I read. And I get a lot of my Supercross stuff from Instagram. So part of that could just be, I think Instagram comments are the dumbest of all the social medias. I don't know what's your opinion on that? Do you have an app that you would single out as here's where the lower IQs live?
Yeah, I'd probably go with Instagram.
You'd go with Instagram too. Okay. So that maybe hinders my opinion a little bit. But Supercross to me is like the last motorsports series that really, and I'm saying this a little tongue in cheek. I'm not being serious, but the last part that of the world, of anywhere in the world that hasn't taken the PC culture whatsoever. Last year we had dildos being thrown up on the podium celebration. Every day, every video I see on Instagram is just, oh, this guy rides like a girl. What the hell? Austin Forkner went viral a couple weeks. Was it? No, Forkner had the wreck. Cameron McAdoo went viral a couple weeks ago because he ripped his rider's suit and his balls were hanging out the bottom of it. And that gained him like a crap ton of fans. I think he doubled his Instagram following or something like that. It's like the one series that it still feels like it's the 1980s in a good, mostly a positive way, I would say, mostly. But Jet Lawrence wins Saturday at Daytona, and not all the, how long the course is. I mean, it's a 1.5, 2-minute lap or so, and not all the guys have crossed the line. And fans, I don't know if a gate got opened. I don't know if the security was pushed down. I didn't see anyone like get tackled or anything. Usually you'd see a video. But a ton of people start running over to Victory Lane to try and celebrate. I think Jason Anderson about ran into a girl and he's like revving his bike at her. And someone's like, oh, he's trying to run her over. And I'm like, they don't have horns on the bikes. So you don't push the little lever. It's not like your riding bike. But they stormed the fucking racetrack as there's still time on the clock at the end of the race. And the guys finishing their laps. It was the most bizarre thing I've ever seen. And I only saw it after because Jet was winning by so much. I turned it off. I was like, truth be told, I was on a date. So my bad. But yeah, I didn't want to stay staring at my phone. I watched to okay, Jet crossed the line, out, and I'm pissed. I'm damn pissed that I didn't see this live. But yeah, no. The more wild thing is the court storming debate has hit dirt bikes. It's not just college basketball anymore. We're in on this. I still think Jay Billis. I don't think they should all be arrested. That's one thing. I don't think all the Supercross fans should be arrested. But come on, you can't just wait. I don't know. I guess that's the only take we could have on this. We need Damon on here to throw a really dumb take out there and be like, that's what fans should do. Or Damon could play the cool guy and I would be doing something like that, I guess. But no, it's wild start to the year in motorsports.
Yeah.
What did you think? Did you watch it live?
No, I didn't see it until afterwards. I was just scrolling on my phone and there was people going, there's the finish at Daytona and you see fans running all over. I'm like, oh, well, surely it was over. And then
I was like, they had to have been running cool down laps. Yeah. Not, obviously you don't run 3 cool down laps or anything, but you got to cross the line and then get back to the pit somehow. I was shocked.
I don't understand. Like I said, I'm not as into Supercross as I once was, but is there fans lined up on the front stretch watching, or
yeah, I think some of them have. Yeah, no, there's some pit stands down there on pit road. I think, at least on the video game, there definitely is. But I'm pretty damn sure. But they came in from the tri-oval and they were storming.
Yeah.
Closer to pit road where, the ultimate winner's circle is. And they obviously have it all roped off and stuff. Some dude reached over the barrier and ripped Jet Lawrence goggles off him and his helmet and just took them. And then Supercross fans are arguing about class in the Instagram comments. And it's like, oh man, feels like 2008 in the Instagram comments today. We're talking about how classy you can be. But no, it's just wild, man. I hope they lean into this. Feld Entertainment, if you're listening, make some of the regular season Monster Jam races matter for points somehow. I don't care. Make them world final seating, damn it. Otherwise, market these races as festivals. These all got to be Woodstocks. That's all you can. And I know motocross is even more so like that. And I want to get down and cover a race this year. We'll see how the schedule, shakes out and everything. But yeah, market these as festivals. Just let them storm the track as the last guy comes around the final turn, I guess. I don't know. I don't know where the miscommunication was at, but what would you do? I'd probably freeze the field when Jet crossed the line, right?
I mean, yeah, that's probably what I'd do. I was pretty baffled when I saw it.
Kind of wish Jason Anderson would have gotten a bigger piece of that girl running across. She picked a terrible time to try to. I mean, all you got to do is look to your right and wait 2.5 seconds. Come on, man.
There was multiple of them that cut it pretty close.
Yeah, he stopped for her, and that ultimately brought more attention of it. If he had gone past her and scraped her stomach or something, no one would say a thing. It was zoomed out. I was like, did he just crush her foot? What are we doing? But no, it's been cool to see. I think, what is it? I just looked at the points to reference this. Jet Lawrence leads by 10. And I think first and second on the podium is 4 points. And then it gets smaller and smaller. Sexton's 13 behind, Eli Tomac 16, and then Roxon's 27th. Aaron is 28 points back, and Anderson's 29. So top four, really tight. Top seven, even for a top seven standard, at kind of the midway mark in the season, that's a really tight points race, and I'm really excited to see how it turns out. I hope people continue to tune in as other stuff continues to start up. That's usually how Supercross goes, though. January races are hyped up a lot, and they kind of have a tame start to the year, and then shit really hits the fan, and it's well, we're all at the sprint car track, and I figure it out on Tuesday. I'm like, oh man, that was crazy. At least in my younger years, but it has been a fantastic season for them. They're going to Texas Motor Speedway at the end of the year. Hold on. I forgot what other track they're going to. They're doing Charlotte again, then Texas. And then they're going to the Strip in Vegas for the final one. I can't wait to see what that track looks like. They belong in Vegas. They belonged at Sam Boyd Stadium. And Sam Boyd Stadium is where the Monster Truck World Finals should always be at. And I hate that we don't have it anymore, but that's just going to be my swan song for the rest of my life. That Thunder Alley and, racing behind the stands and stuff. It's not that cool. There's no stands back there. And if you sit people back there, they see one turn of the race and then a video board. But when I was a kid, it was the coolest fucking thing you could ever do. So I don't know. This has been an enlightening conversation, Quentin.
Yeah, it has.
You got anything else, or are we good?
I think that covers it all.
Awesome. I think we're getting Brendan Mullen on Wednesday, I believe, and we'll do our dirt show at some point Wednesday or Thursday. probably Wednesday. But it'll be out later this week. Same with the next pavement show, and we're working on getting the guests for that too. So if you're interested in partnering on advertising, anything like that, shoot me an email at connorferg9@gmail.com. Message me on Twitter. My stuff's out there. Just look me up and find me. But if not, thank you for listening. And thanks again to everyone who tuned into the Donny Schatz episode of Selzy Says. That'll be running every other week, I think, for this sprint car season. So thanks again to everybody. We'll be back later, and appreciate it. Love you guys.